Hey you guys, how are you doing? I hope everyone is well and in good health. I have missed all of you guys so much. I know I've been MIA for a while now. I'm really sorry. What this video really is about is why I started using the Curly Proverbs hair oil. Because since I've started to make these videos on my channel, a lot of people have come up to me just saying, you know, asking me a whole lot of questions about, you know, this oil. And so what I'm going to do is actually do a Q&A strictly regarding this oil. So if you really want to, you know, if you have any question about this oil that you want to ask me, definitely follow me on Instagram. I'll put it in my Instagram and my Snapchat in the info. So I big chopped, for those of you who don't know, actually I haven't spoken about it, so all you guys don't know when I big chopped. I went natural for about 7-8 months, and I big chopped I big chopped Boxing Day 2013. Okay, so this year I'll be 4 years, this Boxing Day I'll be 4 years natural. I am not exactly where I wanted to be with my hair yet, but you guys will understand as I go on. So I big chopped, you know, I was happy, you know, for the first year. I think for the first year of a lot of people's big chop, a lot of people are happy with their hair. They, you know, they go ahead and look after their hair as best as they can. That's what I did. I looked after my hair for the first year. You know, my hair grew really well. I was happy. And then the second year was also okay. I was dealing with a lot of stress. I was dealing with a lot of stress in my life then, but you know, it was still okay. I was looking after my hair. So about March 2015, I became pregnant with my little girl. And so while I was pregnant, I was very ill. For the first and second trimesters of that pregnancy, I was extremely ill. I had something called hyperemesis. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it or have had it, but I had something called hyperemesis. And hyperemesis basically is, if you Google it, it's basically like morning sickness. It's like an extended morning sickness when you can get sick all day, and some people can get it throughout the whole pregnancies, and I got it my first 2 trimesters. I can't speak, and it was really bad. I couldn't eat, first of all. Most of the time for my first and second trimesters, what I would eat is I'd have some orange juice, and I actually would have some clementines or some oranges or any sort of orange fruits that I had about. That's what I would have. This and the orange juice was my food for the first 2 trimesters. So I became so thin. I lost so much weight because of this, and I was constantly, like in a day I could throw up like up to about 10 times. That was how bad it was. And so I didn't feel like eating. I just felt sick. And so during this time, this is when my hair like problems or issues started. Of course, I'm ill, I'm not feeling well. I completely ignored my hair, completely neglected my hair, because obviously I'm not well. I wasn't eating well. I didn't have the strength to look after myself, to even take myself into the bath to have a shower or something, let alone to take care of my hair. So my hair was like the last thing on my mind. I didn't even think about it during those 2 trimesters. So my hair really got worse and worse. It just started to mat up, and it started breaking and shedding a whole lot during these 2 trimesters. So by my 3rd trimester, I started to feel better, and I was over this hyperemesis. When I was dealing with a hyperemesis, I went into hospital, and I was staying in hospital most of the time as well. So it's just craziness going on with my pregnancy. And my pregnancy was also high risk, okay? I was dealing with a lot, guys. So my hair was, as I said, the last thing on my mind. I didn't even think about it during those 2 trimesters. And my hair began to just like shed so badly, shed and break so badly. So by the end of the last month of my third trimester, I put my hair into like kinky twists, and because it was just so bad and I couldn't leave it. I knew that if I leave it like that and I went and I had my little baby, my hair was gonna get worse and it probably will fall out, because yeah. So anyway, what I did was I put my hair in those kinky twists, and I just left it for the last month of the third trimester and the first month of when I had my new baby. So 2 months I had those kinky twists in, so I didn't have to bother with my hair. And for those of you who don't know, I had a cesarean section as well with my baby. So of course, when you have a cesarean section, you're not feeling your best, you know. You just tend to focus on your baby and leave everything else to other people to do. So again, my hair got a little bit neglected as well. Even though I had started to look after my hair my third trimester, my hair got neglected because I had a new baby to focus on. I myself was not feeling very well. So again, my hair was neglected, and it just, again, started to shed. So I say about 5-6 months into having my baby, my hair began to shed again. It started shedding really badly. So obviously I knew that this was postpartum shedding, okay, because yeah, what else could it be? So it was postpartum shedding, but it was shedding too much, you know. And I have other children, so I know of postpartum shedding and how much, you know, your hair can shed, but it was just too much. It was breaking as well. Really, my hair became so thin. Dealing with that underactive thyroid and my hair thinning out. I'm dealing with the neglect from when I was pregnant with my hyperemesis issue, and my hair was neglected also, so it was breaking and it was shedding, and I had the postpartum shedding. So I had 3 things going on at the same time, okay? So my hair was so thin. The issue with this is, if you have thin hair and healthy hair, that's fine. And if you've always had thin hair, then you don't have a problem. But if you know your hair has always been thick, like previous to all of this, my hair was so thick, okay? Since I was little, everyone complimented me on my thick hair. Okay, my hair was long when I was little and really extremely thick. So from coming from that to this, now there were times that I really wished that my hair was not as thick as it was, because it just meant that looking after it was difficult. But I didn't wish it for it to be this thin that I was dealing with at the moment of my postpartum shedding. So my hair became so thin. So at the time I didn't really know, because I found out about the Curly Proverbs oil in 2017. So I didn't know about the Curly Proverbs oil, that it can thicken my hair as it has. I didn't know about it then. So what I did, I got the Afrogy 3-minute, or yeah, 2-minute reconstructor, whatever it's called, something on those lines. It's a protein treatment meant to help your hair when it's breaking and shedding. So I use that about every 6 weeks. I use the Afrogy. It helped, but not as much as I was hoping for it to. So it helped with the shedding, which was the main thing, and the breakage, but it didn't help with my hair to thicken again. Get into 2017 and I find out about the Curly Proverbs hair growth oil. Now at the time I didn't really know the Curly Proverbs hair oil, because Curly Proverbs herself, when she did the video, she didn't say about thickening much. She didn't talk about thickening much. She mostly talked about growth. I think in the video that, you know, this oil was meant for growth, but she didn't talk much about how the oil has helped to thicken her hair. So I didn't know, but I was just looking for something to just help me with this craziness that I'm having, that is going on. So I found the oil and I started to use it. And initially when I found the oil, I used it more than twice a month. Now I'm at a good place. My hair is not as thick as it used to be, but it's almost there. It's not as thick though. So when I found it, I used it like maybe about 3, 4, even 5 times a week. I used it so often because I just needed that thickness. I didn't know at this time, but I was just using it anyway. I was hoping that it would be of some help. So I started to use it, and I used it first week, second week, I didn't really see a difference. I would say it took about a couple of months to see the thickness come in. I think all this time that I was using the oil, it was thickening up, but I really didn't see, because as I said, my hair was very thick before. So even though it was thickening up, to me it was still thin, so I didn't see it. So I would say I saw it into about 2 months after using the oil. That's when I really saw how amazing this oil is, and how, you know, how much it has thickened my hair. So that's why I started to use it. I just continued to use it, and now, you know, my hair is great. It's amazing. It's doing well. It's not it's still shedding just that tad bit more than I would like it to, but you know, it's much better than before. So what can I say? I'm really happy about, you know, finding this oil. Thank you, Curly Proverbs, because this oil has helped me so much. Like, I love it so much. My hair is not where I want it to be, okay, but you know, we're nearly there. So I'm happy with my hair. So as to growth, you know, growth has been really good too. When I started to use this oil, I didn't measure my hair, okay. I just used it, and then after a while I decided, why not be measuring my hair so that I can realize how much growth I'm getting. And so the first time I measured my hair, I got about 2 inches of growth. Yes, 2 inches of growth with this oil. I got 2 inches. Maybe it was like this little off, like 2 inches. It was almost 2 inches, which was amazing. I was shocked. My hair was doing well. So that was the first time I measured my hair. I had gone 2 inches, and then the next month I kept measuring, and then I just got to a point where I just felt like, you know what, the oil is working for my hair. I'm happy with it. I don't need to be using it like 100 times in a week for it to be working for me. It's doing already what I wish for it to, especially with my thickness. Roughly an inch and a half to 2 inches is what I get most of the time. Sometimes I've gotten an inch, which was okay, but yeah, an inch and a half, 2 inches is what you will get. I think that the more you use the oil, the more you get, the longer the result is, or the longer your hair becomes, and the less you use it, the less obviously growth you get. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you thumbs up and subscribe. I shall see you in the next one. Take care.